Okay, so I guess we can begin. So the first topic is Nuremberg trials. Anyone has any idea what Nuremberg?
एक बार रुक जाओ वो बस हो रहा है हो गया यस
Okay.
गो अहेड
So yeah, hello
ऑल्सो
everyone.
मेकिंग यू द होस्ट तनव
Sure. Um, so yes, guys. Firstly, welcome to the class. Thank you for being here. So now a question. Like we'll be covering two major topics. That is ISRO. Ek one, the second is Nuremberg trials. So, does anyone, let's just start off with the second topic first, Nuremberg trials. Does anyone have any idea what were Nuremberg trials? And secondly, why would it be in news? Suhani.
So all I remember about Nuremberg trials is that it was the first international criminal trials in the history,
Okay.
and the International Military Tribunal, which is related to this, it was formed by the Allied powers. That is US, UK, USSR, and France.
Perfect. What was like the whole idea behind it? Matlab, what was the context in which this was set?
It was for punishing Germany for the war crimes against humanity.
Okay, perfect. And why is it in news now?
Is it related to the Harvard Law School?
Harvard Law
Uh,
School?
I don't know. I read something related to it.
Not that. Like two things. One is something that you might not find on newspapers or something, but something contemporary. So does anyone have Amazon Prime? No one has Amazon Prime. Okay, so Amazon Prime Pay, there's this Netflix series, not sorry, Netflix series, what am I saying? There's a movie which is doing very well, and it's like a very recent movie. So it is about Nuremberg trials. That plus Maduro being, taken by US and him being a head of a state. So these questions are certain things which came up in the Nuremberg trials. Matlab, can there be immunity for a head of state, right? Or matlab, jaise if you might know, diplomats have immunity, right? Can we arrest the Pakistani diplomat today if we want? No. Why? Any idea? Why can't we arrest them? I guess you're on mute here.
Maybe because they have diplomatic relations with, like, they are representing their nation and they are being perfectly peaceful. So any, act against them will be an act against the whole country itself because they're the representative of that country.
Reasoning is right, but let's just say the diplomat killed five people in India. Then what? Can we arrest him? What do you guys think? Okay, Operation Sindoor happened, and okay, Pahalgam attack happened. A lot of Indian innocent civilians were killed. So could we have arrested the Pakistani diplomat? And let's say like these two things happened simultaneously. Let's say the Pakistani diplomat did a terrorist attack in India. Can we arrest him? Any idea? Okay, so the answer is no, you cannot arrest him. Reasoning is something similar to what Hiya had said. Ki the whole idea is ki these diplomats they are representing a nation, right? And that's why you cannot just arrest them. They have immunity, right? And even if they commit any crime, they are still covered. So, does anyone have any idea where this comes from? Which treaty? What is the name of the treaty? Okay, so the name of the treaty is someone trying to say something?
Is it VCDR, Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations?
VCDR, yes. When was it, when did it get signed? Like, when did it come into force?
1960.
Yeah, Suhani.
1961.
Yeah, that's the year. Okay, and so that is basically the genesis of diplomatic relations. So the whole idea is ki dekho, let's not attack diplomats, right? They have the right to represent their nation, and they are not there as a civilian. They are there to represent the country. And the whole idea was कि if a diplomat has to act in, in not independently technically, but in pursuance of the interests of his country, then he should be free. और वो तभी हो सकता है जब him and his whole family, immediate family living in that country, gets that immunity. So that's why this thing is there. Even if a Pakistani diplomat does something, we cannot arrest him. But now a question, it doesn't like turn us very, मतलब, doesn't it make us very weak? कि the Pakistani diplomat is so they can do anything. कल को they'll make n number of diplomats, मतलब बहुत सारे diplomatic passports दे देंगे, and then they would send a lot of people in India, and then can't we attack them then? Can't we defend ourselves? So what mechanism does India have? If you cannot arrest them, detain them, or kill them, then what can you do? What is the way out? Does the VCDR give any guidance on it? Okay, guys. So the answer is that you can call the person, you can declare the person as persona non grata. That basically means you're a person who is not invited to this country. When some country declares a persona non grata, that means that that person will have to go back to the country. So that's the whole idea. So that's one safeguard which one of the countries, like the host country, has, right? And all this is governed under VCDR, Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Also, there's another treaty, and you should just know the name and the year, which is like name to pata chalega, Vienna Convention here. But there's like one which is on treaties. How do you interpret treaties between countries? Does anyone have any idea what's the name of the treaty? Okay, so the name of the treaty is VCLT, Vienna Convention on Laws of Treaties, and it came in the year 1969. So it just lays down the rules कि exactly treaties को interpret कैसे करा जाता है. So it has rules like general meaning देना होता है terms को, specific meaning मतलब जैसे Article 26 says that. Then there are things कि कब treaty can be violated. So VCLT is very much in use because of Indus water dispute. And if you remember, India had suspended the Indus Water Treaty. So India is also trying to justify itself through VCLT itself, Vienna Convention on Laws of Treaties. So they are different. No, not that you have to know, but in general, I'll just mention. So like there are different articles which are important. बहुत ही normal था. This Article 26, which talks about good faith. कि you have to implement the treaty in good faith. That's it. 51, which talks about exigencies and सस्पेंशन ऑफ ट्रीटी. सो ऐसी ऐसी चीजें. तो द होल आइडिया इज कि अप अंटिल जो दूसरी वाली साइड है वो ट्रीटी का कोई ग्रॉस वायलेशन ना कर दे या फिर ट्रीटी सस्पेंड ना कर दे, तुम भी नहीं कर सकते सस्पेंड. तो द ओनली ग्राउंड, लाइक देयर आर बंच ऑफ ग्राउंड दैट यू हैव. वन इज सर्कमस्टांसेस में चेंज आ गया कुछ, ठीक है. द अदर इज दैट द अदर कंट्री डिड समथिंग which violates VCLT. So such things, right? That's the whole idea. But yes, VCDR, VCLT, that's it. But now coming on to Nuremberg trials. So Nuremberg trials happened after World War. Which World War? Anyone? There are only two, so you have a 50-50 probability even if you.
I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So you said that diplomats cannot be arrested or detained or anything.
Hmm.
And if a country has to act against them, they have to specify them as a persona non grata. But doesn't diplomatic immunity shouldn't it only be exercised when a person is on a visit directed by the state itself?
So that's only when it happens. A
So,
diplomat lives.
so isn't it like very time constrained?
नहीं, not as such, क्योंकि diplomats stay forever in the country. Every
Okay.
like throughout the year, or like जब से इंडिया बना है, we have
Hmm.
at least some Pakistani people living in the embassy, right? There are people who
Yeah.
like run the embassy. So that way we have diplomats there in like throughout, and also there are certain diplomats who show up for certain visits, right? Just a foreign minister of Bangladesh is in India supposedly, so you cannot arrest him because he also has diplomatic immunity at that moment.
Okay.
Yeah, those are things, and that relates to your idea of the head of state being immune. कि एक
Okay.
कंट्री का जो लीडर है वो दूसरी कंट्री को लायबल नहीं हो सकता, वो अपनी कंट्री के लॉस को लायबल है, बट वो यूएस के जैसे जैसे मदुरो अगर माने, ही वाज द वेनेजुएलन हेड ऑफ स्टेट, so
Hmm.
he should, like, is he liable? Like, can he be prosecuted in a US court or not? Isn't it a violation of VCDR?
Yeah.
So yes, our questions are there, and matlab, I'll like you're most welcome to research about it on your own if you are interested. But for CLAD, it's not that important. For CLAD, what is important is just these trials, names, numbers, years. Yes, sir, right. So we'll just focus on that. But yeah, so but yeah, move. Yeah, you had something to say. Yeah, yeah.
And is there, um, can the International Court of Justice or the international law come in between of diplomatic immunity if they commit some crimes?
Like international, ये जो VCDR, VCRT ये सब, these are actually international law. They constitute
Okay.
international law. So if you ऐसे want to learn about international law, so there's like ICJ का statute. So Article 12 of that talks about what are the sources of international law. तो उसमें से second number पे आता है treaties,
So,
conventions and all that. So हाँ.
so like the community immunity is absolute.
Absolute, yeah, it's absolute immunity. Matlab, they can actually do anything. It's just that we can declare persona non grata, and if they don't leave, then we can take action. But up
Okay.
until that, we cannot. And मतलब ऐसे कुछ मेजर इंसिडेंट्स हुए नहीं है। आई हैव हर्ड एक दो की, जैसे एक बार पाकिस्तान का जो यूएस का डिप्लोमेट था, यूएस में डिप्लोमेट था, ही डिड सम burglary type sorts things from some grocery shop or something very मतलब minor infractions, but yes, he was stealing stuff, and then police came up and we were like, okay, we cannot arrest you, but then they did something कि उसका वो बना दिया था कि तुम इससे पार नहीं जाओगे अपनी एम्बेसी के बाहर,
Okay.
तुम्हें ये अलाउ नहीं करेंगे, फिर से पर्सनल नॉन ग्राटा कर दिया था कुछ टाइम तक।
No, actually, I watched this movie and it was like a whole conspiracy theory, so I was a bit curious.
Which one?
There's this old movie Surfarosh in that the diplomat he was actually having this whole racket of smuggling, arms and stuff and everything. So they just made him kill a person, and that person in turn killed him. So
Okay,
like that.
not particularly that would happen, मतलब हाँ, even if the person is running a drug cartel or something, you cannot arrest him
Yeah, so I was a
according
bit
to international
curious.
law, but
Yeah.
you end up doing that if you're US for sure. But yes, that being said, now back to Nuremberg trials. So trials happened after World War II. The whole context was that, see, Nazi people have done tremendous amount of bad stuff. It's time that they are held accountable, right? So मतलब that's the context it is set in, and then came the questions कि मतलब ओके ट्राई करते हैं ना कि the whole idea was कि हाँ जो बड़े बड़े लीडर्स हैं उनको मार दो, सिंपल, मतलब what's the point, आराम से मार दो. Do you know the reasoning behind that? Like, why didn't they just kill them? Anyone?
The leaders of,
Yeah.
so maybe they wanted to set an example that crimes against humanities will not be tolerated and they wanted them to suffer that same torture. Just to set an example that yes, we support humanity.
So it was a symbolic gesture. And secondly, one more thing. Last time when Germany lost, they were inhumane to them. They were brutal to them, right? The terms of the treaty were very difficult. So what did they do? Like, Germany retaliated. Germany became strong. Germany felt humiliated and it retaliated. And then World War II happened. So this time around, they were like, no, हमें बहुत fair चीजें रखनी है, and we'll give them a chance to defend themselves. And it was actually a Supreme Court judge of the US who made that happen. So in the movie, you will see that, and it's, matlab, I'll suggest to watch that movie as well. But yes, now on to questions about this. What is the official name of the tribunal which looked into the trials, matlab, which conducted the trials?
International Military Tribunal.
Perfect. What treaty was it under? Anyone? Any idea? Okay, so it was under the London Agreement of 1945. Uh, which were the countries which were signatory to this London Agreement? Initial signatories. Any idea? Suhani, yeah,
Is it the Allied powers, US, UK, USSR, and France?
perfect. That's it. These were the four initial signatories, and some 19 other countries joined. So that what happens. Also, in the first trial, how many people were tried? Like, matlab, how many people was it engaged? Matlab, what they did was they took like the top brass of the German people, like German Nazi government that was left, and then they were taken to trial. So, how many people were there? Anyone? So it's 24 people that they took. And yeah, it included people like who were second in command after Hitler as well as and such people. So it was like a very big thing. And the whole idea is ki matlab, they were given a chance to like it was also a moment for the Jews to show how many atrocities happened and how much they had to suffer because this was a moment where witnesses were brought in. It was documented what people went through. So it was a very like important thing and it laid down the idea and like it was the conception of international criminal law. So that in itself is a very, very big thing. What court like now do we have an international military tribunal or does any other court look into this like crimes against humanity and like war ये सब international criminal law के लिए कौन सी court है? Yeah, Swani.
Is it International Criminal Court?
Yeah, it's in the name. What agreement it is under? Any idea? Okay, so it's under the Rome Statute, right? Is India a signatory to Rome Statute? Any idea? Take a guess.
No.
It's not. Is US a signatory?
Mm.
Any idea?
I think yes.
Huh?
I think it is.
It's not. And the most fun thing is that they were the ones who made Rome Statute happen. Like it were the US delegates who made it happen. They
Yeah,
were the
I thought exactly that they made it happen.
But
So they
in the
should be
end,
a part of it.
they had an because I remember reading a book about it when I did the International Criminal Court moot. So like I don't remember the exact reason, but in the end, in like the final days of negotiation, they were obviously ready to sign because they were the one who convinced everyone to have this thing. But then in the end, what happened was that there was something which they just could not agree on. So they said, "Oh, it's fine. Let's you guys go ahead. We'll not sign it." So yeah, fun. Um, okay. Maybe like um. So yeah, a question. Where was the first session of the IMT held? Matlab this Nuremberg trial wala. Where was the first session held and when? Yeah, Bhakti, go ahead. I guess you wanna answer.
Held to it was in 1945 November.
Okay.
The place I do not remember.
So I'm talking about the first session. So the first session took place not in Nuremberg, and I believe कोई तो बोलता कि oh Nuremberg obviously the name says no. The first session was in Berlin.
Berlin.
Yeah, 18th October 1945. So yeah, how many judges were there in the court? Take a guess. अब मतलब I know कि no one has studied the topic, but still take a guess.
5
Why five?
seemed like a good number.
Not just think that there are four to countries, right, who are into this. So it has to be like related to four now somehow. So is it four? So the answer is that it were eight countries in total. Eight judges, sorry. Four countries each one, and then one alternate judge that was given by each and every country. But the verdict was given only by four judges. So yeah. Also a question. After World War One, something similar happened. The Allies were like, let's prosecute them. At least the head, right, Wilhelm, General Wilhelm, let's prosecute him. जो Germany का leader था उस time. So did that happen? Could they make it happen? Take a guess. पहला IMT था तो obviously उससे पहले तो नहीं हुआ, right? So that could not happen. So very interesting story there. So they had rallied and everything. Ki, हाँ, we'll have a IMT set up and everything, and we'll specifically prosecute Willem and then we'll hang him. But they could not do that because he took refuge in a neutral country. So does anyone know the name of the neutral country? And take guesses. It's fine. Any idea? Okay. So the neutral country. even neutral countries का मैं सोचो यूरोप में कौन सी होंगी या पूरे वर्ल्ड में न्यूट्रल कंट्री सुन के what's the first name that comes to your mind? Anyone? Okay. स्विट्जरलैंड किसी के माइंड में नहीं आया. It's the neutral country. So, but is that the answer? No, Netherlands is the answer. So, but I guess the very, मतलब ये these are questions which people like which can come in clat, and obviously ऐसा कुछ होगा कि Wilhelm could not be prosecuted because he took refuge in a neutral country. Which country was that? There would be four random options. Two would be random, like Belgium, Lithuania, Latvia, and like sorry, Lithuania, and like one would be Switzerland, and the other would be Netherlands. And people would like 90% of people will go for Switzerland, thinking कि oh neutral country. But no, Netherlands is the answer. और ऐसे questions ही like जब when I used to the idea behind this class is also कि you do not have to just learn certain topics, but you also have to learn the art of learning, right? Art of doing GK. So when I did GK back in my time, the whole idea was to find such छोटे questions which are there, which are difficult to find otherwise, and like which would confuse people. अब जैसे and those things do show up. जैसे I remember कि one question on APJ Abdul Kalam. The question went something like, who was the first principal scientific advisor of India? And there were like four options, three random names, one APJ Abdul Kalam, and so any person would add the very first, maybe eliminate Abdul Kalam, thinking he was the first president, science related the name. So that's why matlab, that'll not be the option. But no, actually he was the first principal scientific advisor in the year 2002. So yeah, try searching for things like this, which CLAD will love to ask about, right? So yeah, that being said. Also, of the 24 people, did anyone get a death sentence?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah, they did. How many? So half, 12 people got a death sentence. And who was the highest person to be prosecuted by this? Any idea? Okay, so it's Hermann Göring. He was the second in command after Hitler. So if you see the movie, it's very. And okay, one more question. Was he executed? Take a guess. अगर मैं पूछ रहा हूँ तो मतलब
Yeah.
no, he could not get executed because he took cyanide. and he died. He committed suicide just before being hung. And it's like if you see the movie, the whole idea was ki in the jail where they were kept in Nuremberg. So the location Nuremberg was also chosen because it's closer to a jail where all of them were kept. The jail was run by US Allied forces, but majorly US. And the whole like the most difficult thing was not to keep them inside, but to keep them alive. Like there was a very high chance they would commit suicide. So they were given a chair just for 3 hours in a day कि उससे कुछ ना कर ले. They were not given towels or मतलब after one incident they were not given towels. But मतलब they were not मतलब उनके कपड़े were checked अच्छे से सब कुछ. It was ensured that they do not have anything, take anything, or they could like they cannot just kill themselves. They were trying their best. But someone like used the towel to kill himself. फिर उसका towel भी बंद करे थे. But Herman Goring was an exception क्योंकि apparently he knew magic ऐसा कुछ and he just hid the cyanide with him. And क्योंकि बहुत thorough check हुआ था, he was checked very thoroughly. But and there were also psychologists who used to visit them. And that movie is actually based on the perspective of a psychologist who is a part. Like there were two, so he was one of them. So his interactions with Herman Goring and all that. And yeah, so okay, so of the 24 top people, how many were acquitted? Was anyone acquitted? Swani, voice is not there.
Maybe 3 or 4. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a very
so
random guess.
three people were acquitted. The names were Ajalmer, Schat, Franz von Papen. Um, yeah, and Hans Filche. So names are difficult. Maybe just एक बार search them up और अच्छे से लिख लेना. So yeah, that is it. Um, hmm. Okay. Also, one more thing I guess that you should be knowing is I guess Hani, we have covered everything majorly. Um, but yes, one fun, not fun, but one thing which I saw from the movie and think it's interesting is that like so they knew कि मतलब Herman Goring, right? He was a very smart man. So the reason why he had surrendered and not killed himself like Hitler and a bunch of other dudes, he was of the opinion कि I might go free. Secondly, क्योंकि ILR क्योंकि मेरे को तो पता ही नहीं था ये सब हो रहा है, ज्यूज वगैरह सब हो रहा है. मैं तो बस हेड ऑफ स्टेट था, मैं एयरफोर्स देखता था, मेरा काम वो था, मैं वो करता, मेरे को कुछ आइडिया नहीं था ये सब हो रहा है. And he was the second in command. So मतलब their lawyers were having a very difficult time questioning him. So one of these psychologists who had done a very good study about him, he had highlighted certain flaws in his personality. One of those was that he will always be loyal to Hitler. He cannot say a single bad thing about Hitler even after he's dead. So that's like they were losing the trial, and then that's exactly what like Herman Goring pulled up with the US का lawyer pulled up with, and he was like कि okay, that being said, क्योंकि उसने बहुत अच्छे से अपने को डिफेंड कर लिया था, उसके लॉयर्स में बहुत अच्छे से सब कुछ कि हाँ मतलब स्टेट कर रहा था, मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा था और मेरे को ये सब नहीं पता था, और अगर आइडिया होता तो मैं नहीं होने देता, ये सब ऐसे उसका था ही. तो he was like कि okay, you tell me this कि do you still follow Hitler? मतलब do you still think if even after knowing all this Hitler said कि मतलब Hitler comes back again ऐसा कुछ पूछा था. He was like no, I'll always be loyal to Hitler, and his last was hail Hitler. So then it was like कि हाँ मतलब emotionally the court had driven to some extent, but मतलब but that is one thing which sealed his fate. Otherwise एंड मतलब दिस इज अ मूवी तो थोड़ा तो उन्होंने एग्जैजरेट करा होगा, बट टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट दिस इज सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्रू कि दैट साइकोलॉजिस्ट फेल्ट हिम एंड मतलब आई फाउंड आफ्टर. So yeah, that is with that we come to an end of this topic. Next topic that we have is ISRO. Why is ISRO in news? Any idea? Suhani, yeah.
Uh, January 5th, the issues PSLV C62, the mission, it is a mission failure. It was recently announced.
Okay, PSLV C62. That's all I could hear. Um, what happened with it?
It failed in its third stage after being launched.
Perfect. And so that is a sad thing. This is like the fourth consecutive ISRO ka fail of PSLV. So sad. Does anyone know the name of the engine which was being run, which was running this?
He was
Vikas,
running.
sorry, come again, Vedika.
It was carrying EOS-N1.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Earth observation satellite. But I'm asking what engine did it use?
I'm not sure. Was it something ANESHA?
So it's actually Vikas engine. It's an indigenously developed engine. So that's important. Um, where is this? Where was this satellite? Like from where did it launch?
Satish Dhawan Space Center.
Come again?
Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota.
Perfect. Yes. Where was it being controlled from? Any idea? So there's this place called UR Rao Satellite Center in any guesses where?
Maybe in Andhra Pradesh itself.
Bangalore.
Bangalore.
And like one fun thing is that on my way to internship, I see it every day. So it's like just adjacent to the place where I am working right now. And when this happened, I was just thinking कि हाँ मैं रोज आके इसको देखता था और मैं सोचता था वाह क्या क्रेजी काम हो रहा होगा अंदर तो कहीं मेरी नजर ना लगी हो. But it was sad and like one fun thing कि it seemed कि something is going on क्योंकि like usually it's very chill वहाँ पे 4-5 गार्ड ही खड़े होते हैं उसका पूरा मेन गेट है जहाँ पे मेरे को दिखता है but when this was like when this was being launched there were like a lot of cars and it seemed कि कुछ है and even आज भी there were a lot of cars so maybe something else is also happening I don't know मतलब news में तो I don't think it was there but there were a lot of cars or something going on. So yes. So now about ISRO. What is the full form of ISRO?
Indian Space Research Organization.
Yeah, what was the name of the first satellite?
Rohini.
First satellite.
Aryabhatta.
Aryabhatta.
Yeah. Um, where was Aryabhatta launched from? India?
Satish Dhawan Space Center, maybe. I guess it was from somewhere outside because it is not from
It was from
India.
Soviet Union. So,
Yeah.
what was the date?
19 April
Perfect. Year?
1975.
Perfect. Um, what is special about Rohini Pile? You only mentioned so.
It was launched on the SLV vehicle, which was India's first launch vehicle, which made India the sixth country to send a satellite in, I think, polar orbit of Earth. I don't know exactly.
So how? Basically, yes, Vani. Your voice is not good.
Is it fine now?
Yeah.
Was it the first indigenous satellite launched by India?
First indigenously launched, which we could put in orbit. So that's why it's special. And the launch vehicle was SLV-3. So, and yeah, that put us among the six that can do that. Also, where are the rockets majorly assembled? Any idea? So it's Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Um, yeah. So yeah, one major news from last year and at the same time. And it's funny how last year was so good for them. And the first launch was such a big success, and this was just a normal launch, and they could not do that though. That, but like, what was the name of the mission? So it happened in like on 16 January 2025, um, which was like the first rocket which we could dock in space, which gave us the space docking technology. So what was the name of the mission? Any idea? Okay, so it SpaceX. Yes, correct, Nancy. Would appreciate if you can unmute your mic and say. So yeah, then another thing related to this is Saral. Does anyone know what is Saral?
It was a joint Indo-French satellite mission.
Perfect, Indo-French, and that was. And what was the matlab, why was it launched? What was the purpose?
I think it was something related to ocean and sea
Yeah,
surface.
correct. Ocean, high waves, and सबको notice करने के लिए था. Um, okay. Where is the National Remote Sensing Center located? Any idea? This place is also home to one of the NLUs. matlab.
Hyderabad.
Correct, Hyderabad. Um, Gaganyaan is happening when?
2027.
And initially it was planned for when? 2024. And also, what is the name of the commercial arm of ISRO? So it's Antriksh, and you should definitely know about this. When did Mom Wala mission happen? And what is Mom mission of?
Mars orbiter mission in order to, observe the happenings and findings on Mars.
Perfect. And when was it?
I don't remember the year, but it made India the first country to achieve, you know, a satellite going to the moon's orbit in the first try.
Correct. 2013, and that's also correct. So yeah, I guess. But I'll just say कि यार इसरो वगैरह में अच्छे से पढ़ो. There is a good Britannica article over it. Go through it. Make notes. ISRO से कुछ जाना is very much possible. Clarity grade में for the past 3 4 years I don't know there's a single year जब उस समय ISRO related कुछ नहीं पूछा है. पूछते ही हैं. So yeah, go through that for sure. And I guess that brings us to an end of this class. So if anyone has any questions, then they can stay back, rest can leave. Okay. How many of you have questions? Just raise your hand. Yeah, Bhakti.
So, Bhaiya, sometimes you tell us about the countries and their history. So, I wanted to know, like, if I want to read about a country's history, so which site or book should I refer to?
Usually it's just UPSC after the country's name, and that gives you enough history. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya.
No worries. Yeah, Payal.
So, yeah, I don't have really very specific doubt to my preparation,
Hmm.
but I saw a lot of videos of 26 clad toppers, and I heard a thing called smart work. So, if I'm not doing anything like for a day even, so is there something which I can do that can ensure that okay, I did some sort of smart work today and my day wasn't unproductive?
So in that regard, firstly, I'll just quote something that I've been trying to quote because it's just so great and I heard it. Does anyone know Michael Phelps?
No.
He has the record of winning the most number of gold medals, Olympic gold medals ever, some 22 पता नहीं, and like single person, ocean वो swimming करता है, and like any sort of swimming he just kills it. So he had this one thing. He was asked that, what do you do on days when you're not motivated, when you do not have the time or something of that sort? He was like, see, I just show up every day because the whole idea is key. Even 20% is better than nothing. If I do not show up, then it's 0%. But even if I show up, it's at least 20%. So that's exactly what you have to do for that. I know if time is less, exams are kuch hai, but just show up and do something with regards to class. So number of things that you can do: give a sectional. Second is read the newspaper. So that's very important. And I believe just reading the newspaper and giving a sectional should be enough. So yeah, and maybe whenever you find time, and this is one thing which I am very proud of कि I did during my class preparation days was कि जैसे you're just traveling और 10 minute have your parents सब कुछ, and or like some relatives show up and you have to sit with them. So just take out your phone, read some article. मतलब that's so that's what I did. Yeah, that's it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else? I don't see your hand, right? Yeah, so I guess with that we come to an end. So, thank you guys. And yeah, have a nice preparation. Yeah. Have a nice day. Bye. Good night.